today I got some cool stuff in. I got a few things in over the last week or so, and I haven't had much time to bring them to the front. But today I finally decided that's what we're going to do. So let me start by saying, first of all, congratulations to Chad, Gordy, and all the Krugerfest people who got to go. I think that's awesome. I can't wait for next year. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of good stuff. I do know they made some specific show-only customs. I think boxed and or carded, and if you're looking for those, you can go to our Facebook page and go to MyMegoLike on Facebook and put notices up for either Scott Aronson, Chris Johnson, or Chad Gordy, or just ask and somebody will direct you to where to get them. All right, let me start with some of the simple stuff that we got, some of the in-store things, if you will, before you go to some of the better stuff. So I was at a local Walmart the other day, and these were on supposedly clearance, but they were a heavy discount. So I wound up picking these up. The Mandalorian happens to be one of my favorite. Oh, there he is. This is Sanchez checking in 5150 Toys. He's like, you're like 8 Mile. So I like these. I love the Mandalorian. This one I thought was pretty cool. What I like about the most, I have a few other. I had Star Wars figures as a kid. Actually, I had the ones that came from Palatoy, living overseas, which were really cool. Including that really cool Death Star, the Palatoy Death Star, not the one they had here. But this one's kind of cool because it comes with, it's IG-12, Grogu, and Enzelan, and you can see there are little small ones in there, and I guess somebody goes inside his chest because there's little controllers in there. You can see them in the back, which was pretty cool. They took that from the show. That was pretty neat. But then they also did it in the Black series, so it's just a bigger version, if you will, with more detail, and you get an extra, I guess, Enzelan in there or whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, that's the easy stuff, right? Love me some Mandalorian. All right, let's do, what do I want to do next? All right, so I got a special surprise for last. Let me do this next. This is this is actually another one of those big boats over there. That's over there, the Fighting Fury ship with the mast. The only thing is this one doesn't have the mast. It doesn't have the sail, which not too big of a deal. But this box, I spoke to the person who sold it to me, and it was used maybe just a couple of times and then packed away. So everything inside is in really good shape. The cardboard and stuff is warped from being packed away, but everything else is in great shape. So let's move this out of the way. That is not the sail. Everything is set up. The stickers are good. The vinyl still's good. It doesn't even smell bad. They did a really nice job packing it, but you can see, like, turn this over. You can see this got a little bit of warped. It's in the heat, you know, and you can heat these up. It's just vinyl over cardboard. The trick is to get the cardboard to kind of go back into shape after it's been folded. But essentially, when you get done, this ship lays out to that over there. I think it's about 4 feet long, if I remember correctly. You can see it over there. It's about 4 feet long. There we go. And I'm excited to put this out. I've had several of these. I gave a couple of them away to some dear friends, and this one the price was really good. What I do love is they sealed this up. Even the map is like that. That's a piece of paper. It's not attached to this. Just gonna see if I can open this up. I didn't open it up. But they sealed all the comics. The person said basically, I guess they got it as a kid, or somebody they know got it as a kid. It was just packed away. So it's pretty sweet. What the hell is this? What am I looking at? Oh, 5150 refers to, oh, that's true. Well, you definitely need some mental health issues. That's okay. That's all right. Nothing wrong with having mental health issues as long as you address it. You don't take it out on other people. Italian. Anyway, excuse me. This is one of the maps. And if you look very carefully, I'll show you from the back, you can actually see the 2 pinholes. Those 2 pinholes is where it was actually, they put a piece of thread to attach it to the back of a card. But the map is in excellent shape. This is not the one that gets folded up, or rolled up, I should say, in Captain Pegleg's leg. That's a much smaller version. That map is about maybe a third of this. There's a bigger map that went with the ship. Here's the, they wrapped these up. These are the little comics that came. Somebody apparently got the Spanish Main Adventure Shows you how to use this stuff. There's a little comic inside and so on. They also got the Captain Blood adventure. They got the Kung Fu Warrior adventure. These are pretty popular. And they got the One-Eyed Sailor adventure. I'm actually quite excited for these because I have pretty much everything over there for the most part. I'm missing, I think, a couple of pieces for the Kung Fu Warrior, but I'm definitely missing pieces for the Spanish main event. Actually, I only have a few pieces, so I believe the entire complete set may be in here. And what we do is I get them up over there. Those are all, if you can see those figures, it's a little hard to see, but they're all representative of the different outfits. I had box copies and loose copies, so loose copies actually going out, and I put them up with that ship. That ship's complete. My other ship is complete too, if I remember correctly. But these are all the accessories. I already opened up. They're in great shape. 99.9% what's in here is Fighting Furies. There was a couple of pieces that were not. And then it came with this really great Captain Hook. Now, I didn't open him yet. He's got the flags in there. He's got the flags for the, is that the Spanish main, I think, and the One-Eyed Sailor, I think. I have to look, I forget. But see what kind of condition this guy's in if he's loose. He's not too loose, to be honest with you. He's actually, these are normally when they play with for a while, they sit for a while, they get loose. He's not too loose. They have his fighting, knife throwing, chopping action works. Of course, his pants are off. They're in with that outfit. So we're going to get him dressed up in the Spanish main adventure, get him out with the rest of them. The rest of the pieces are in good shape. The ladder. This goes on the front of the boat. I don't know what you call this part that sticks out the front. There's the plank to walk. There's an anchor. The string's a little but there's an anchor. This is the actual steering wheel. And what's actually interesting about this, this might have been folded, but normally you could see the wrinkle marks in them from being folded for the years. This one's not, so clearly it wasn't played with too much. And this is the chair. So this was kind of flattened. The way that these work, and you can see this curved. So what would happen is you would hook this. There's holes all in here where you could actually take this hook, push it to the back, and then you would just close the chair up around it, and then it would become a chair. The top of this, the sides are fine, but the top needs to be flattened out. So what we're gonna do is a little heat on that because the cardboard in there is a little, whatever, we straighten that out, you know. That map is cherry. That is correct. It is cherry, Brian Sanchez. Brian Sanchez, very good. But as far as the overall condition, the snaps are in perfect shape. Usually snaps get broken. The clips break, the little brass clips or so on. And so, but this is in good shape. So what I'm going to wind up doing is leaving this out. What I wanted to do is acclimate a little bit to the environment so that the temperature hopefully helps it settle a little bit. Heat will actually help put it back together because it's a little, crinkled over here. They're not easy to do. I've done it before. Sometimes you don't do it long enough, it looks good and it doesn't last, so we have to be very, very careful, but we're going to take care of that and get that done, get that put away and so on, and we'll take care of all that stuff. So I'm going to get this stuff to the side real fast. The map is cherry. That is the special phrase of the day, Brian Sanchez. The map is cherry. Unlike yourself. There's no kids watching. There's kids watching. I already determined that's not made for kids, so not my fault. All right, let's see what else we got. So I want to show you guys. Something that came in from Europe. I can't get enough of these. I love knockoff figures, and I love some really cool knockoff figures. So inside this box, the guy charged me a shitload to ship it, and he forgot to give me a tracking number. It said it was going untracked, but he did send the tracking, which was good. Charged me almost 20 euros more than it was because I saw the bill, but we're not going to sweat it out because it is what it is. But this is another one of our Le Robot aux quatre visages, or Robot Man of Four Faces, made by MF Toys. What I like about this one, comparing to one of the other ones that I have, is that his outfit is not faded. His outfit is in excellent shape, really excellent shape. His stickers, for the most part, are in pretty good shape. He did have a melt mark on the side of his head, which kind of sucked. And this is the John Sachs. And he's got some kind of it's almost like he's got paint or something over his eye, which is a little weird. And when I went to take this off, the plastic was melted here. So I just used an X-Acto knife to open it. But this is the inside of his face. He's got these boots on, which these look like some knockoff G.I. Joe boots. These are not the right boots. The correct boots look almost more like a plastic, bigger version of a Lone Ranger boot, but they're just plastic. They're not that rubber. So I was going to show you some of the examples I have with this. Let me bring this over so you guys can take a look. And we will do that. All right. So twist. There we go. All right. So this is the one that just picked up. You can see the suit is in much nicer, unfaded condition versus this one that's faded. Then we have the green version. And then I have this very unusual yellow version, which is weird because the clothes and everything look good. Normally I see them like this. So I don't know if it came like that or that's just a fluke, but all the parts seem to fit and so on. Now, as far as the faces, it came with 3 faces. It came with the John Saxon face. And you can see the difference. This one's got like it's got this weird, like somebody colored it or something. I don't know. Or a bad paint job. Then it came with this bearded man look. And then the final and the most odd one is this chimp look. So I'm going to show you quickly where these come from before I show you the pièce de résistance for this evening. Okay. So the Maskatron mask, they did a pretty good job. They basically took 3 different toys that were popular at the time, and actually 3 different scales to make the masks of this. So here's our original Maskatron, and then our knockoff mask. Okay, there's your first face. This wonderful face is actually taken from our good friend here, Mr. Action. Aha, you seeing it, Brian Sanchez? Are you seeing it? Temperature of the toy room of solitude, which means it's hot and smells like Funyuns and ball sweat. Nice! Sanchez always was something wonderful to contribute. Sanchez, how big is the $6 million man stuff? Is that 13 inches or so? It's like a 13-inch. Actually, we can take off Maskatron's mask. You can take a look at the. You can take a look at the knockoff over here versus the real Maskatron. So they didn't do a terrible job. It's not the best thing ever, but it's a knockoff. I thought was pretty cool. And of course, the last one, which is our monkey mask, was taken from an 8-inch scale figure or our Planet of the Apes figures. So we've got all these different figures from different lines. We've got Kenner, we've got LJ and Toys with the Mr. Action, Kenner with the Maskatron, and of course Mego with the ape head. So these were all very popular toys back in the day, and these guys did a really good job of ripping them off. I'm sure there was no licensing, no may I use, no permission, no anything. So I thought that was kind of neat. And these have become, I don't know, like the LJN stuff or the Mr. Action stuff, a bit of an obsession with me. I do like them a lot. I think they're very, very cool. They have a tendency to go for ridiculous prices. This one was so inexpensive compared. I think it almost cost more to ship than it was for it. So that was that. But yeah, very nice. 13 inches? Okay, that's what she said. Ha! Gotcha, Sanchez. That's what she said. So we've got the 13-inch Maskatron, right, for the robot's face. We've got the 12-inch Mr. Action. And then, of course, we have the 8-inch Cornelius or Galen from Mego. So interesting take on how they borrowed or stole or requisitioned something from these 3 lines. And I think G.I. Joe, they didn't do G.I. Joe. I would imagine that G.I. Joe probably Hasbro would have sued the piss out of them. Maybe not. I don't know. So they chose Mr. Action, which is kind of a weak G.I. Joe, if you will. Back in the day, it was the one that Grandma's, I think David Eon says, Grandma bought you because she thought it was G.I. Joe, but it wasn't, that kind of thing. But yeah, so it's pretty neat. So we're going to get these into the collection. I'm going to see if I can do a little, maybe get some cleanup on his face because it's got this really weird, like, mark over his eyebrow. You know, occasionally you'll see pieces come up, like a mask or so on, and they get a bit expensive. Some of these people are asking ridiculous prices. In fact, there's one on eBay if you want one in the blue outfit. I think it's $900, which to me is just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. All right, got one more cool thing I want to show you, right? Yeah, just one more cool thing. And this is actually really cool. So I planned on going to Krugerfest, and I couldn't make it to Krugerfest, unfortunately, due to something happening with a friend's family and so on. And it really sucked because I really wanted to go. So now I have to go next year. And basically, let's just say somebody passed away right before we left, and it was just a bit of a mess. And Amanda and I have been helping that family through this while we're doing our stuff. So one of the things I saw from Mr. Chad Gordy in a photo that he had posted is some figures on the table. I know Scott Aronson and Chris Johnson Did some really cool figures. I don't know, they did a Batman, and I don't know what Batman version it was. I mean, I never heard of it before. Not a comic book reader, forgive me. Chad did some The Ghosts of Kruger Street. He did 3 custom figures, and then Chris Johnson did a CB McCall, the Mego CB McCall, in an 8-inch format. Even had the fist with the hole in it, which was actually interesting in the hand. So I thought that was pretty cool. But this was on the table, so I said, Chad, is that for sale? Because I saw, I think, a couple of them in the picture. He said, yeah. He said, my son Sean did it. And I was like, how much is that? Because I have to have that. So I reached out to Chad and Sean, and Sean put this one together. Now, I've got an IT company now for 24 years. I've been in IT forever. When I started my first IT job, one of the things before the internet was out, one of the things that, or I shouldn't say out, before the internet was popular in homes and people knew what it was, one of the things that we used to do is we used to get on the network at 5 o'clock and we would play Doom. And Doom was great. The original Doom was great. Back in the day, that was high-tech, first-person shooter, great game, so on. It would be me, my boss, and the owner of the company. We'd play for hours. And I'd drive home an hour, hour and a half, then get up in the morning and go back. But the one thing that I loved about it is the graphics for it were really cool. The color scheme was really cool. And so I saw this on the table, and Sean Gordy, Chad's son, put this together. And I was like, I just have to have that. For me, it's just a marker of reminiscence for stuff that I remember back in the day, many, many years ago. And we're going back 30 years. So this is actually the Doom Slayer figure, which is actually the character that you play in the game. This comes from, I think the back of the box or so on. But it's nice. It has Krugerfest down here because it was a custom for it. 8-inch action figure. He did a really nice job. The boxes are good, and so on, and I like it. I really, really like it. So I'm gonna see if I can open this without damaging the box. So give me a second. There's a trick to doing that. Thin blade. Usually use something not sharp. Just enough to get it under the lip. Try and work it a little bit. I use the oops, there's tape on there. I use the back of the blade so we don't cut into the box when we're putting pressure on it. And you could probably use just about anything to do that was thin. I don't want to damage it, but I do want to open it so I can get it out. I'm trying to do that without. There we go. There we go. Just pop that up a little bit. So I had a lot of fun playing. Oh, wasn't it great? Duke Nukem was a great one. So the thing that's funny is, that doesn't mean a lot to anyone, but in those days, this was pre-Microsoft being huge. Microsoft made Windows and Microsoft made Office. It wasn't the powerhouse. Well, it was a powerhouse, but not like today. But there was a company called Novell, and networks ran on something other than what you guys probably know as TCP/IP. Let's get real nerdy. They ran on a protocol called IPX, SPX, which nobody uses anymore. It wasn't ready for the internet. So we used to play on that. It was interesting because when you play on a network like that, it's different than when you play on a thing today. So this is actually the figure which I love. I love. He did a really nice job. He did a really good job with it. He's got even the hands. Look at the hands. Right? He's got the hands on, the boots. I don't know what he did for a body here. I'm not going to even guess, but I think he sculpted a lot of this. In addition is Duke's pistol. It'd be fun if he came with the BFG, right? Which took me a while to realize because the internet wasn't out back then. You couldn't just say, what's the BFG? It was actually the big fucking gun, if you will, which I thought was pretty funny. But he did a good job getting his hand there so you can get the gun in. You get the, get the gun in, you can get the finger into the, place. But I thought that was actually quite cool. All right. What he also sent with it, which this just tops it off. I don't think this is part of it. And I was joking with Sean and said something like, yeah, can you send extra fries with that order? Just as a joke. And he's like, oh, I might be able to send you something extra. I'm like, I don't look for extra stuff. I didn't pay for it and so on. It is cool, right, Sanchez? It's really cool. But this was in the box, and I don't know if it came with it or he just sent this as an extra, but this is actually one of the floating monster heads that's in the game, right? We'd shoot at these all day long. And I mean, just look at the friggin' detail on that. It's sick. Just sick. I mean, it just gives you the full, thing of the game. But this is, I love this figure. This figure's heavy, so I don't know if he did a, maybe he did an S2 type. I have to ask him. I didn't get a chance to, but maybe he did an S2 type for body from where the hell's Classic TV Toys or whatever. But I love it. He did a nice job. The detail on it is fantastic. And it's really funny because until I got sick of New Mego, I never bought customs, ever. Never bought customs. Had no desire to buy customs, didn't want to buy customs. And then at some point I said, yeah, I'm not doing Mego anymore. What else is out there? And I started buying customs. I started buying stuff from Brent's Toys. I started buying stuff from Dennis Glinsky from Toy Room. I started buying stuff from Buck, and so on. And it just, wow. Like, now I see why people actually like customs. I didn't get it before, but I get it now. Even the box, he's got the orange insert and so on. Did the fold on it, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And I mean, the box itself is just, I should say that, yeah, the box itself is even just where now I got to get it off the edge, off the bottom. Even that itself is just a really cool thing. They did it in the Mego style. You know, he kept the whole spirit of Mego when they did the box, and I'm assuming he did his own boxes because between Sean and Chad, they're both two very talented people, and I think it's just phenomenal to see them do that. It's a shame that some people don't appreciate their talent. I'm not talking about people buying their stuff. I'm talking about people who do things to try and undermine them, which is really, it's really a shame. And we don't have to go into detail on that. They know who they are and they know what they do, and that's a shame. So that's what I got. That's what I have. I did wind up progressing. We did play Doom back in the day. We also wound up getting into doing Doom 2, of course. And then, of course, I wound up years and years later buying Doom 3. I don't know if, I think there's another version of Doom. By the time Doom 3 had evolved, they did a really cool job with, you know, sound and background noise. So as you're walking through these very evil type levels and floors and I don't say dungeons, but these, maybe dungeons, you know, you can hear the noise of things around you. It wasn't just a game where you're shooting at stuff. They actually gave you this whole experience. So the best thing I could tell you is you put on headphones and darken the room and play it. It makes a whole different aura to it. It makes it a lot different when you do that. But yeah, I thought this was really cool. I was very excited to get it. These guys did a really nice job, and it's just one of those, you know, unique things out there. I believe you may have a couple left if you're interested. I just heard a scream of no when you open that up. Johnny Frick. But it's really nice. Isn't it awesome? I love this thing. I think they did he just did a great job. I mean, this is Sean. This is Chad's son. I thought it was his brother. I said something to Chad. I go, oh, yeah, your brother does it too. He's like, dude, that's my son. I'm like, holy shit. So apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? But I just thought that was fantastic. So that's our little thing for today. We got a little counter Star Wars, some newer figures, Mandalorian series. We've got some new knockoff Maskatron or Robot Man of Four Faces, or Le Robot de Quatre Visages, if you will. One day, hopefully, we'll find one carded, and so on. I do want to say also thank you to Mick Drago, who I talk to periodically. Mick's in Germany, and he pointed me out to a really cool figure. So Mick sold me an Atomic Man, which is a knockoff figure. I forgot who makes it. He's a flocked head knockoff of G.I. Joe, and he has a silver outfit. Actually, let me show it to you. I'm going to have it here. Show it to you. Let's see what we got. So I did a video on this ages ago. Mick had sent me, I bought a bunch of stuff from Mick, and this was in the package. And this is Atomic Man. You can see from his little Atomic Man on there. He's a flocked head. He's a knockoff figure, obviously. He's got some posability. As a matter of fact, there's something actually kind of funny. Give me a second. I think he's got the same body as is he the same body as this guy? Pretty close. All right, he's got the same kind of joint as those guys. He has this silver suit, it says Atomic Man, but Mick pointed me out to one that's in the box, in the original box. These, I believe, are from the late 70s, maybe early 80s, but he came out probably around the same time that Mike Power, Atomic Man from G.I. Joe came out. He's got these definitely interesting kind of boots on, but a really cool figure. This one's in really good shape, but the box one's hopefully on its way from Germany. So anyway, I thought that was cool. So I got all these cool knockoffs. So I need to get a shelf together for these. I got to get some doll stands or action figure stands, if you will, to do that. But yeah, but I want to say thanks to Sean and Chad Gordy. The Doom figure's fantastic. I have to reach out to him and tell him, my God, he didn't even know. That is just, that's just fucking awesome. It's really good. Little Robot Man of 4 Faces. Like I said, some Kenner. And of course, Fighting Fury stuff, which I just love. If you haven't gotten to Fighting Furies, you would love it. How much was the Doom custom? I think he shipped it to me for $100. Yeah, I think it was $100 shipped, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if he charged me shipping or not. I don't know, but I literally ordered it, and boom, it was here today. I mean, it was like, I don't know, it feels like it was like yesterday. Days are a little blending for me because of things that are going on at the office, but yeah, but definitely very, very cool. So very excited for these. Very excited these figures. They're awesome. Everything's great. Thank you guys so much for everything. And let's go have some fun with our toys. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I'm knocking some stuff out at the office I need to go through. So I haven't been on here as much, and I apologize for that. So not as many videos, but here we go. I'll go look it up because they probably charge you. No, I don't think they would. He told me that's what they charge at the show, Sanchez. They're charging $100 a piece, if I remember correctly. But that's it. They won't charge you more. Chad is a good guy. Sean's a good guy too. Like I said, I thought it was his brother. I didn't realize it was his son, because Chad looks like he's like 20. But in any case, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.